say, farewell to Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
During whatever period the British film industry has been through, he's been working all that time. One of the thrills of my life is I bought a flat once, and he owned the flat below. Right. So occasionally we used to have to get together to sign the lease.
Okay.
To sign fresh leases for people. So
for the freehold.
So it's my.
He's your neighbour.
He was my neighbour, and the flat was next door. So it was. He was my neighbour for a while, but I didn't know he was my neighbour. Yeah, that was the thing. And his daughter lived in the flat, or still lives in the flat. And one Christmas, I didn't know he was my neighbour. Yeah, and I didn't also. I'd never met him. And I didn't realise how tall he is. Anyway, at the end of the pathway up to the flats, there's this quite a grotty sort of like where you put the rubbish bins. You know, those little brick buildings where you put the rubbish bins. They're like 2 bins high.
Yep.
And behind that's a tree, and there's a sort of hump. Anyway, and there's a little wall.
Thanks for that.
No, this is important because it was Christmas Day, and I was taking Harvey, my bulldog, for a walk. And I was going down the road with Harvey. It was about 11:30. Or actually, no, it was midnight. And the weird thing was there was a slight ground mist, and I was taking. No, this is absolutely true. I was taking Harvey for a walk, and I was just going down, and I heard this sort of rustling behind the bin building thing, where there is this sort of the ground humps up.
Yes.
And suddenly, and I heard this rustling. I think, what's that? And suddenly, from behind there, wearing a deerstalker coat.
Right.
Just the coat, you know, with the sort of the
Sherlock Holmes,
like Sherlock Holmes's, yeah. Christopher Lee just stood up, and he was massive. He was really tall. He just went, "Merry Christmas," and I was like, "No, tell me!"
Did you run screaming?
It was the most frightening moment. I didn't know he was there.
I'm surprised Harvey hadn't started barking in premonition.
No, Harvey sensed it. 'Cause he was all like, a friend of mine, and he was a.
He tells a great story, Johnny, about when one of his Dracula films was on at the Pictures. Hammer House of Horror films, and he had a few hours to kill, and he saw it was on. If I'll go in and watch it, because we all assume that actors see the films when they're making them, but they don't.
They don't. No.
And he said he went in, just sat down quietly at the back.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there, just watching his film.
Yeah.
And it's a half-filled cinema. No one's really seen him come in. Anyway, just near the end, the couple in front.
Yeah.
The woman looks round.
And there's Christopher Lee.
And she just starts screaming and screaming.
The guy was amazing. He was in the SAS. I don't know if you know that, but he
was he?
He was in the SAS. Yeah.
Christopher Lee was in the SAS.
Yeah, he's head of Vampire Squadron.
No, he's the original.
He was in the unit.
He was in the original. He was in the original SAS when they were much more of a sort of desert.
Right.
A pioneer.
He was one of Sterling's boys.
Yeah, he was one of Sterling's boys, and he also had the most amazing singing voice. And I used to use this I had a tiny flat at the top, and I used to use this flat for writing when I used to write stuff, and among other things.
Yogurts.
No. But he also brought out an album of like metal crossed with opera.
No.
Which he recorded downstairs. So it was the most eerie experience. I used to sit there sort of tapping away, trying to write comedy. And, but downstairs I'd be serenaded by Christopher Lee, who had the most fantastic singing voice as well. The guy could do everything.
Wow.
And he worked to the end, and the cat was called Duco. So there you go. But anyway, Christina, if you're listening, I don't know if you probably listen to talkSPORT, but, my commiserations, my thoughts are with you. And, he was just the most tremendously lovely man. And, there we go. And we shall all miss him. It's 12:52. Right.